Hafide, welcome to another episode of Real Talk, where we talk everything about movies. This episode, we're going to cover Leonardo DiCaprio and his best and worst films ever.
I doubt you'll even have input for the worst. Because, okay, just for everybody watching this or listening to this on the KUM Podcast Network, Ken is the biggest Leo fan I know. And
it's not true.
Who doesn't love Leo? Leo is a fantastic actor. You have glowing praise for Leonardo DiCaprio.
It's not true, but I mean, he made some good, or he was in some good movies, you know. But Real Talk is brought to you by the fine folks at Tango Theaters, where you can catch Cold Pursuit this weekend, featuring Liam Neeson. Little fun fact: Liam Neeson was Leonardo DiCaprio's dad in Gangs of New York.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is one of my favorite Leo movies.
Here we go.
Are we
Told you.
You know what? I think we should just start. Let's just, whenever we do these episodes about actors or actresses and their best roles, I think it's just best we start with go in chronological order with their movie history and just pick out ones that we like or that are notably bad.
Okay, well, What's Eating Gilbert Grape is probably what broke him. Everybody said he played the young boy who was
Arnie.
Arnie.
I don't know.
Army.
Now he was sharing screen time with Johnny Depp, and back then that was kind
Juliette Lewis
and Juliette Lewis. Juliette Lewis, really funny.
Who's the mom? Kathy Bates.
Was it Kathy Bates?
I don't remember.
Okay, I know she did Misery and she did Fried Green Tomatoes and that.
Well, that was a great movie.
What a cast though, and everybody basically said, "Who is that little kid?" He blew me away.
Yeah.
Granted, and this is the first iteration of Johnny Depp, after doing Cry Baby, after doing, Nightmare on Elm Street. Johnny Depp's star was in ascendance, and everybody was like, man, who is that kid?
Yeah, and that was still a pretty young Leonardo DiCaprio, right? I mean, he was like 14 years old, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And very challenging role because he was playing someone with mental health challenges, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Severe. And he was sitting in a tree.
The water tower.
Okay, yeah.
Water tank, that big water tank. That was, and I thought he was going to die, because he climbed up the water tower. That was a great movie.
Okay, can I throw in, I don't know a whole lot. I mean, this is the man right here when it comes to Leonardo DiCaprio. I've got a little bit of a fun fact about Leo. When I worked at Blockbuster, again, we've only mentioned this a million times. When I worked at Blockbuster as a freshman in college at the University of Guam, my supervisor, his name is John Lapid, shout out to John, he went to high school in LA at a performing arts school, and Leo was actually his classmate. Wow, everybody in this, and even for a school where you were learning how to, play various musical instruments, you're studying the classics, you're learning dance, you're learning acting, everybody, according to John, thought Leo was exceptionally weird. He would sit down and just recite lines into himself at lunch, and he's the one who wound up getting his break. Wow.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I wonder how true that is. But
next on the list is a movie that I actually think this is one of my...
When have I ever massaged the truth?
I really like this role in The Quick and the Dead. You guys remember The Quick and the Dead?
I looking at this list, I had no idea that was Sam Raimi.
Oh, yeah, Sam Raimi directed it. Right?
Okay, so if this, and that came out in 1993, so... 1995, I'm sorry. So that was after Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Sam Raimi directed the Army of Darkness, right? And Evil Dead. And he did this Western movie, the spin-off with Sharon Stone, where Sharon Stone is the lead role, and she's trying to avenge the murder of her husband, right? Mm-hmm. To Gene Hackman. And then there's a kid who's played by Leonardo DiCaprio, who's the fastest gun in this town, and I think that's really a breakout role for him too, as well. He really has a lot of charisma, and he's a handsome young teen at the time, and he really carried that really well.
Thank you for bringing that up, and now we will consult the expertise of the member of our panel, who is an expert on all things cosmetic. Miss Asha, what makes Leo such an attractive human being? Because he is a very, very good-looking person. But what about him exactly? What attracts you as a woman to Leonardo DiCaprio? He hasn't aged, basically, too.
Yes, he has.
Oh, you think he has? Okay.
Yes, he has. In the more recent years, anyways, I've seen like a dramatic change in his appearance. But yeah, for a while, he kind of had the same look that I could remember from Titanic. That was like the first movie I watched with him in.
So he's got those piercing eyes. He's got that real strong chin.
I don't know why, but I like the way his voice sounds. Like, to me, I've always liked the way his voice sounds. I think he has a really nice, relaxing voice.
Okay, now I'm half Chamorro, so I've got like Micronesian hair. So if I don't gel my stuff down, to be damned, I'm gonna bring back the fro. Once in my life, even for one day, I would love to have Leo's hair.
Yeah, he has pretty nice hair. Now I'm thinking about
it. I don't know. I don't really remember a lot of his hair in the movie.
These are things that never cross your mind, I guess.
No.
Yeah. He's too busy watching the movie, not looking at Leo.
So you did mention Titanic, Asha. Titanic
that was his
in 97
breakout role.
And that's got to be like his biggest movie, you think?
It is his biggest movie.
To that point, for numbers. Sure. Because he's done some really big movies afterwards. It's still. I mean, he was critically acclaimed, but he was not awarded like he eventually would be.
Well, I mean, like financially, or I guess, that is the biggest role, right?
I would say Titanic.
$2 billion. Right?
Yeah,
$2 billion.
Well, that's pretty ridiculous.
James Cameron was like, okay, give me, I've got this unbelievably layered, story to tell, and we're gonna have. The opening scene opens up, and it's this 88-year-old woman. A woman's heart is of a deep ocean of secrets.
God, why did you do it?
It does not even look or sound like that at all.
Jeez, man.
What was that?
Play the video.
Well, she's not shaking her head like she's having a seizure.
We don't really have to talk about Titanic, right? Everyone's seen Titanic.
It's a beautiful
if you have never seen Titanic, you
the heart of the ocean.
Titanic.
Yeah.
Man, I watched that movie
11 Academy Award nominations, right?
Oh, this swept that. Yeah, I mean, Celine Dion's song. And I would say, since we're talking about Leo, this is the movie where Leo really grew up, because everybody was like, okay, he's that cute little kid. He's got some acting chops. He's always
he did Romeo and Juliet. Yeah,
I remember that one.
Oh, that's right.
Basketball Diaries. That was
Basketball
Diaries.
That was a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, Titanic was a career-defining role. Like,
I really liked Romeo and Juliet because I liked that approach where it was the actual Shakespearean prose set in contemporary times. Mm-hmm. And plus, Claire Danes is.
Dang, that was weird.
Wow, that was so weird. We're gonna have to cut that out of the real video.
Claire Danes is.
No, that's the one that's going to be.
Oh, so Asha can fawn over Chris Hemsworth 1,000 times in every single podcast, but I say Claire Danes is an attractive young woman.
Yeah, but you did the weird sigh.
It's not what you said.
That was like a creeper sigh. I was like, like, whoa. Wait, moving on. How about the beach?
Not going well.
How about the beach? You guys watch the beach?
Wait, okay. So how do you guys? So he had that little
Titanic's crazy. That Titanic is like a perfect movie.
Basketball Diaries.
Titanic's still one of my favorite movies of all time.
So Basketball Diaries, then in 95, the next year he does Romeo and Juliet, and then he does Titanic the year after that. Romeo and Juliet, actually, it blew me away. And a little known, also side story, there was a movie with Ethan Hawke that called Hamlet 2000. Same idea, not as well. Basically the exact same. It was Shakespeare's play of Hamlet. Word for word, same thing, just set in modern times.
Never heard of it. Was it released around the same time?
No, I think it was around the turn of the century, so 2000, 2001.
I've never heard of it.
But instead of becoming the Prince of Denmark, he's the CEO to be of this large corporation, and his father is his uncle is a CEO who kills his father and then marries his mom, and the whole story of Hamlet. But yeah. But anyway, no, Romeo and Juliet. He was really good in that, but I just think in Titanic, that's what really sold him as a grown, mature man, who Asha's probably going to say was funny, because you were even saying, how much younger was he supposed to be
than Rose?
Than Kate Winslet, yeah.
How much?
In the movie.
That couldn't have been that much younger. Maybe he was like 19 and she was like 24 or something. Right? It's passable.
I don't know.
That's passable. Right?
That was a good cast in that movie too.
It was. Billy Zane.
Talk about someone with hair.
That's a guy who gets no love. Billy Zane.
Yeah, because he did The Phantom.
Yeah. And Rocketeer. Did he do the Rocketeer?
No, he didn't do Rocket. No, he didn't do it. He might as well.
Okay. Anyway, so moving on. How about The Beach? Danny Boyle's first film before.
I haven't seen The Beach, but I hear you speak really, really highly of it.
Oh, really?
You've said that before. You really enjoyed The Beach, right?
Actually, no. I didn't really like that movie that much, but I thought it was a pretty popular movie. I was wondering. I thought maybe you enjoyed it, but I guess if you didn't, then okay. Well, we're skipping that one. That's Leo is like a tourist who goes. I forgot where they are at.
I think I watched this.
Are they in like Bali or something? And he finds like this private beach, and him and
they're in Thailand.
Him and who's the female lead in that movie? Can't remember.
Gilliam.
They have like a isolated, secluded beach, and then other people come. It's pretty interesting movie, I guess. Not one of my favorite roles though. But the next year, or 2002, Catch Me If You Can came out.
I remember that one.
The Steven Spielberg movie based on a true story about the con artist Frank Abagnale.
Yeah.
Right? And I thought that was a really good movie. Tom Hanks, Leo.
And they're stuck in the airport terminal, right?
No.
During part of the movie.
Was that the entire movie?
Is there a scene where he's chasing him through the airport terminal?
There's a scene where he's chasing him through the airport terminal.
Okay.
Because
that was in the trailer. Don't worry. You watched the trailer. We know you watched the trailer.
Because basically this guy
movie in 3 minutes.
Leo plays this guy Frank, who's just a con artist, and he's just he's gifted with his words, and he can trick people into thinking that he's multiple things. So he plays an airline pilot and flies a plane. He pretends he's a doctor and performs like a surgery, different things to con his way through like a fancier life. And Tom Hanks is the like federal or like the FBI agent that's trying to track him down and capture him. Mm-hmm. And it's basically this back and forth between these two guys, Frank and I forgot Tom Hanks' character's name, but it's very interesting. And Frank Abagnale ended up being a informant or a consultant for the FBI to teach them, like in the future, like later on in his life, to teach them how con artists could, manipulate certain situations and get away, and kind of be like a consultant to prevent like all types of identity theft, which is pretty interesting. I actually thought it was a good movie, and it's one of the first, outside of Titanic, one of the earliest roles where he, plays at the same level as another top actor, like him and Tom Hanks just trading lines throughout the entire movie. I thought it was really good. That's
also the only time in Leo's career when he worked with Steven Spielberg.
Is it? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, Spielberg directed.
And then next we have the string of Martin Scorsese directorial films. Gangs of New York. We were talking about it earlier. Liam Neeson is Leonardo DiCaprio's father, and when Leo's a kid, Liam Neeson and Daniel Day-Lewis, they run two separate gangs in New York, and then Daniel Day-Lewis kills Liam Neeson, and it's basically the story of how what is Leo's character's name? Amsterdam Valen, I guess. I didn't even know that was his name. But a story of how he rises to power and faces Bill the Butcher, played by Daniel Day-Lewis, and had Cameron Diaz in that movie.
Cameron Diaz was in that, right?
That was a good movie, and Daniel Day-Lewis in like one of his best roles for sure. That's a really good movie. That's one of my favorite Leo movies.
You would say DDL was better in this than he was in
There Will Be Blood? Yeah. I think so. I think There Will Be Blood is it's a good movie, but I think this role was a lot more interesting. I don't know.
Well, the next movie he did, how'd you guys think of him as the Aviator in 2004? Because he played Howard Hughes, very, very troubled, literal genius. Howard, they call it like having Howard Hughes syndrome right now, where you're so smart. You're paranoid about everything.
I didn't like that movie. I didn't like that movie. That movie's, I don't know. It's not it's actually one of my one of the movies that I like the least from Leonardo DiCaprio. I just liked it because
it was a biopic, and he's actually playing a real person who went through.
Yeah, it was cool. Like there's some pretty cool things that happen in the movie, but I don't know. It's kind of boring. I didn't really care too much for it. But you know what? I did care a lot for is The Departed.
Which I actually saw for the first time at your...
Did you see when...
Repeat it. Well, basically when it became available on Netflix. Thank you, Netflix.
Yeah.
and he didn't read it.
Wow, that's cool. What did you think of The Departed? Why don't you? Okay, well, you watched this movie, so you actually might know about the script. So, what happened in The Departed?
Here is my assessment, right? As someone who has seen, as a Scorsese fan, and as someone who has seen Goodfellas many, many, many times, you got the Sicilian mob, right? Cosa Nostra. And the way that Scorsese tells that story, The Departed, I just couldn't get past so many different
Italian.
parallels.
Wait, aren't they Irish?
No, but I'm saying the parallels. You have the Italian mob, and then you have Irish organized crime in Boston.
Okay.
There were just so many parallels between the two movies and everything. I really liked The Departed. I just couldn't get past the fact that even though it's a different story, it was just basically Goodfellas transposed with different city, different organized crime, same movie.
Gosh, man, you are so far off. If you have not watched The Departed, that movie is amazing. That is definitely one of the best organized crime movies ever. It is an adaptation of a Chinese film called Infernal Affairs, and there's two main characters. Obviously, there's Billy Costigan, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and then there is whatever Matt Damon's character is, right? And they're both the same age, but they come in different places from their life, right? So Leo is a poor kid, grows up in troubled youth, and Matt Damon's character goes to the best schools and
squeaky clean.
Yeah, and they both go to the police academy, and they both do really well in the academy. And Matt Damon's character gets everything. He gets promoted to detective and all that, and he's cool. But
because meanwhile he's working for Ash.
I don't remember what gang it was.
Yeah.
No, the actor. We basically buried the lead with the guy who had the best performance in the damn movie.
No.
Jack Nicholson?
Second best performance. Leo's got the best performance in this movie.
I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly. Leo was good.
Didn't you say that Jack Nicholson's accent was fake in that movie? Weren't you saying that?
It's not consistent. And I've talked to people who are from Boston, and I was like, okay, how do you feel that Jack Nicholson captured the Boston accent? And you don't have to be, I parked the car in Harvard Yard. You don't have to do that kind of thing. But it came and went. It ebbed and flowed. But Nicholson was great in that movie.
So the beauty of the movie really
and FYI, everybody dies.
The beauty of the movie really is that the plot is really really interesting, right? You have
like Goodfellas was.
You have the squeaky clean cop who's a mole for the Irish mob, and then you have
like Goodfellas.
And then you have this guy who is an undercover, who works undercover and is in the mob, but he's really a cop, and but he has a troubled past, right? And that's Leo. And man, that was a great movie. That's probably one of his best roles.
Just like Goodfellas.
Nothing like Goodfellas. Absolutely nothing like Goodfellas. Jason has no idea what he's talking about. I'm not even sure you watch Goodfellas.
I've seen Goodfellas.
Okay, we got two movies, guys. Make sure at your list at home you write it down. There's a couple movies Jason did see. Goodfellas. We're still on the fence about whether or not he actually saw The Departed. It's lack of understanding of this film.
And Transformers the movie.
And Transformers. And Bird Box. Okay, moving on. How about Blood Diamond?
You didn't get the memo either, Ash.
I know. Because 0 for 2. How about Blood Diamond?
Didn't see it.
I watched some of it.
I like Blood Diamond.
Okay, what'd you think?
It was okay, wasn't it? It was pretty sad, right?
Yeah. It was pretty sad. He died. Oops. Spoiler.
Oops.
Spoiler.
He dies in everything.
He's a South African,
Yeah, does Leo die in everything?
He dies in a lot of the movies.
Okay, he didn't die in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, right?
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
We thought he was going to die.
Okay, well, please, Asha.
He died in Romeo and Juliet, right?
Well.
He took the poison and he died.
Duh. Yeah. Okay, that's the spoiler of all spoilers.
Okay,
he dies in Titanic.
Okay, can you please do your impersonation of Titanic? She has got the most awesome spot-on impersonation.
Jason just likes to talk people up.
What impersonation?
Do your impersonation of Rose.
That was your impersonation.
As soon as we finish recording this, she's going to do it, and we're all going to be cracking up. It's I'll never let go, Jack. I never let go. What's the first thing she does? She lets go.
Well,
that wasn't an impersonation. I was just like,
I'm over here. Oh, my boyfriend's about 200 feet beneath the waves right now because I said I'll never let go. And whoops, bye, Felicia.
So Blood Diamond was pretty cool. I like that movie, but actually Leonardo DiCaprio's accent in the movie was horrible. Actually, I don't know what a South African accent is supposed to be like.
It's a little bit. It's British, but almost a little bit more twangy, almost like more country. Not so much like you. Okay, people have asked me this before, and if you can tell the difference between the accents of a proper British subject, an Aussie, and a South African, then you're pretty cultured.
Okay, I don't know.
Charlize Theron did not retain her South African accent.
Okay, moving on.
Chris Hemsworth apparently did, as Asha will be quick to point out.
How about Shutter Island? Did you watch Shutter Island, Jason?
I did not. Oh, I recused myself.
Asha, what did you think of Shutter Island?
I thought it was crazy.
Crazy good, or
I thought it had a good plot twist.
And that's another Scorsese film. And to think, like, all these films are pretty good. Like Leo,
he's been in more good movies than bad movies.
I'm actually surprised. Like, up until this point in his history, he did not win an Academy Award for Best Actor at any point yet.
And of course,
like Departed, right?
All that we're doing here, ladies and gentlemen, is just basically foreplay. This is just like nibbles on the neck and everything like that until Ken is going to give you the big French kiss with tongue for Inception, because that is his favorite movie of all time.
Which he didn't win an Academy Award for either.
But he worked with Christopher Nolan.
He did.
That was a crazy movie.
But Shutter Island, though, that was a pretty cool movie, right? Are we going to spoil that movie?
Go ahead.
You've talked about it before.
Spoiled everything else.
Yeah.
Okay, so Leo and
Does
Mark
he die
Ruffalo.
In this one too?
Leo and Mark Ruffalo are partners. They're detectives, and they go to this island. And on the island, all it is it's a institution for like the criminally insane, right? And they're trying to find.
What is the island really called? What's the name of the island?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Apparently not Shutter Island.
But
that would be
a woman disappears on the island, and they're trying to find her. And during this whole time, there's a storm coming, right? Mm-hmm. As it turns out, the whole thing was this big, massive ploy to try to refresh the consciousness of Leonardo DiCaprio's character, because he was in fact a patient on the island. And there are a couple more. Yeah, he's just a crazy guy. But there are a couple more spoilers that I don't want to ruin, because I think that movie is actually really brilliant. The ending is really, really good. But you should see that.
I did not see that coming.
And then there was Inception, which is like one of the best movies ever made. Christopher Nolan directed this movie. I don't know. This movie doesn't get enough praise.
He did Inception. Christopher Nolan did. This is prior to the Batman trilogy, right?
In the middle of the Batman trilogy.
He already had
the first two done.
Yeah, I was gonna say Batman Begins, but no, that's the other one.
He did that. Batman Begins.
No, that's
first
Mr.
one,
Freeze, right?
No, isn't Batman Begins the one with the Ra's al Ghul and?
Is that Batman Begins?
I think so. I think you're talking about Batman Forever.
Yeah. Well,
but anyway, Inception is a brilliant movie. It's about
we have to.
What is the name?
Deeper.
Dominic Cobb. Dom Cobb, and that's Leo's character. And what he is like a dream creator or something. And basically, the premise is that you can go into somebody's dream and get information about them, right? Like. You can go into their subconscious and find certain secrets that they're hiding from the world, right? And rich people know that this technology is out there, so they want someone to go into their dream to plant another idea in order to find a secret in the brain. Like, it's some crazy plot. There's a lot of like layers of going into people's dreams into another dream. Has Ellen Page, it has Tom Hardy. It's a brilliant movie. It is awesome.
You know what? I saw that I didn't even realize Tom Hardy was in. I just watched over the weekend again for like the 900th time. Black Hawk Down.
Tom Hardy's in Black Hawk Down?
Tom Hardy's in Black Hawk Down.
I didn't know that.
He's got a little bit. He's actually the comic relief. But
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
He's a good actor too.
And then we have Quentin Tarantino's Django Unchained.
I like that movie.
He was okay in there. He played like
putting him with Jamie Foxx was an interesting pairing, because you've got the ultimate improviser, and then Leo, who it's legendary the way he says he prepares for a role, and like the way he's so meticulous in like getting ready. And we were talking about what about Leo makes him beautiful or makes him effective. I think it's the way he also uses his voice, because like in Inception, right? He said, we got to go deeper. He's got a real good way of like speaking very very curt and very and really selling a line, even if it's only like 3 or 4 words, really really effectively.
Sure. I agree. I think his delivery is very strong, and it's he really sells a lot of the dialogue.
Interesting word, sells. Because the next movie he did... Oh. Well, actually, no, not the next... Okay.
No, yeah, it is.
Before he did Wolf of Wall Street, which is what we're getting to, because, you are a finance major.
And, yeah, of course, that matters. That's why... Okay, sure.
Go ahead, you understand stock better than the two of us do. So, okay, sure. Great Gatsby I did not like. And it's weird, because I liked and I enjoyed...
I did not watch.
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch Great Gatsby? Okay.
I didn't watch it. I'm surprised you watched this movie, considering all the other movies you don't watch.
Considering I like classic literature? Yeah, thank you.
No, considering all the other movies you don't watch. But go ahead and continue. Tell us about Great Gatsby.
I mean, I liked Romeo and Juliet again. And Great Gatsby, it was very rich. It was lush. It was visually appealing. And I just couldn't get into it. It was a little too over the top for me.
Is it accurate to the source material?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's, anybody who's read Great Gatsby, it's like, okay. And, Great Gatsby is a great book, but it was a little too much maple syrup on the pancake stack for me, I guess.
Interesting.
I don't even think is that even an analogy?
I don't know. It's interesting.
You've used that before,
right?
You
just made one up.
Yeah.
Okay,
like my movie
let's move on to The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes.
You watched The Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street,
You
yes.
watched that.
Yeah.
Nope.
And it's the story about what's the guy's name? Jordan Belmont?
Jordan Belfort.
No,
he was not in Castlevania.
Yeah, I was like Belmont.
And he was not in Cruel Intentions.
Well, is that Ryan Felipe's character?
Yeah.
Is it Belmont?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. Anyway,
okay, I've seen Cruel Intentions like 3 dozen times.
Jordan Belfort is a
he's a penny stock trader.
Yeah. And he just cons a bunch of people into investing with him. And it's a pretty crazy story.
Was it really conning, or did you watch Wolf of Wall Street?
I didn't.
Okay. And I like the original, Wall Street, with Charlie Sheen and Martin Sheen. There's a certain nobility you have, and it's incredibly, and you know this better than us, but when you're doing movies about the finance sector.
I don't know this better than you. Go ahead, continue.
When you're doing movies about the finance sector, like if you're doing something like Margin Call.
Sure.
And you're talking about the 2008 financial crisis and the way that the American economy literally almost collapsed. I mean, it did, but it completely imploded into itself. There's so much backstory, and most people don't understand this kind of thing. Like The Big Short, right? They had all these little cameos, and like Margot Robbie was in there to explain the concept.
And what's her name? Other girl, Jay Beeb's girlfriend before. What's her name?
Selena Gomez.
Selena Gomez was in there, right?
Yeah. Anthony Bourdain, rest in peace, was in there. But yeah, Wolf of Wall Street. So they have all of this rich financial information. It takes place over 20 years or something. I mean, it takes place over a long period of time. And I thought, as good as Leo was, and this is probably one of my favorite Leo performances, Jonah Hill stole the show. Jonah Hill was amazing in this movie.
Okay. He was okay.
As the unbelievably douchey partner.
They were all douchey, and Leo was like a huge douche in that movie too.
But that was the 80s. That was the era of excess. That was get as rich as you can, work as hard as you can, have the convertible Beamer, have the $900 suit back when $900 was still a lot of money, have the fancy alligator shoes, have the super hot wife plus the 3 hot girlfriends, because everybody was, the morals were completely out the window back then. And you just get as rich as possible, as quick as possible. And you know what they say from business class, easy come, easy go. And Jordan Belmont's empire got really... Sell me this pen.
Well, he has a Facebook empire now, right? Because they always pop up Jordan Belmont videos, he has you can buy like some of his stuff on Facebook.
Yeah, because he's a motivational speaker now.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. But I liked that movie. I thought it was a pretty ridiculous movie, like everything that happens in that movie. And it had Matthew McConaughey true story. Too, so
Matthew McConaughey,
right? Wasn't he in that movie?
In what
Wasn't
movie?
he the?
I don't believe Matthew McConaughey was in.
Wait, you watched it, right? Wasn't?
Oh no! In the beginning, yeah.
It was in there, guys. Yeah, that was knowledge being dropped. Careful, Jace. Knowledge might hit you on
knowledge being dropped.
Go ahead. Yeah, that was pretty dope. I liked it. I think that's one of his better roles. That's like 2 notches down below.
Also, again, playing maybe kind of a biopic, but I mean that Jordan Belfort, a real person that actually happened.
Yeah, it was cool. I liked that movie. I liked it. All right, let's go down to the final movie. I mean, unless you guys are talking about the Audition.
What is the Audition? He played himself.
Is that a documentary? No, because Scorsese directed it.
I have no idea.
Okay, but plus this is the maybe 10-year period. Okay, his first time working with Scorsese was 2002, and he continued to work with him until
movies with him though.
Until 2015. So yeah, 13 years, a 13-year relationship with Martin Scorsese.
And isn't that your favorite director?
That is my favorite director too. Yeah. Wow.
Okay, and with the exception of Titanic, which made $2.1 billion at the box office, this next movie, and the movie that he was finally rewarded for, finally got his much overdue, much deserved,
certainly
Best Actor award, but also
what movie did he get Best Actor award?
The Revenant. Which was weird because in this movie, he doesn't talk for a great deal of it.
Yeah, and
then he fights a bear.
Yeah.
And then he has dialogue.
How did he get Best Actor for this movie? Now that I think about it, I actually didn't really think the performance was that great. I thought Tom Hardy's performance in the movie was really good. So I don't even know. This is not even one of my favorite Leonardo DiCaprio movies.
I'm beginning to think that you're not so much a Leo fanboy as you are a Tom Hardy fanboy.
I like Tom Hardy. I think Tom Hardy's a good actor. I think he's got a lot of promise in the future.
He was good as Bane.
Yeah, he was good at it.
We're going to go and destroy your city.
I mean, this is not a Tom Hardy episode, but man, Tom Hardy is
See? What did I just say?
He's good in all the stuff he's in. Right? He was good as Venom. He was good as Mad Max. I mean, he's good in that movie where he drives around for an hour and a half on the phone. I don't remember what it's called, but The Driver or whatever. He was good in that.
Okay, anyway, The Revenant.
It was all right. Yeah. Leo got attacked by the bear and almost died.
I guess you can say... Okay, so I guess there's 2 schools of thought, right? You can either say, this is the Academy basically giving him they're finally giving him the award that he probably deserved multiple times before that, but for whatever reason he didn't get. So they're let's kick him the trophy. Or you can say that this is probably maybe some of his most challenging and therefore his best acting, because to be able to play a role where you don't talk.
He does talk, man. It's not like he's not talking.
He's not mute.
Yeah, he's not mute. It's just the movie just doesn't really have that much dialogue in it.
And then he fights the bear.
And that's early in the movie.
And again,
so that's still relatively early in the film.
He's in this wilderness where there's snow going all over the place, and yet his hair and his beard are impeccable, immaculate.
No, man, no. Actually, no, not really.
We could go outside right now, and the goatee that you're rocking right now would go in 900 different directions and everything. Leo could go outside and half of that wind speed and everything like that, and then the dude would look cherubic.
I don't know. So, okay,
or is that just me?
What are your top 3 Leo movies, Asha?
Easy.
Well, Asha, can
I know my top 1.
Can you actually educate us on one more thing? You looked up on YouTube the other day when the 3 of us were watching. You found Leo did a little bit of TV acting as well.
Oh, I remember that. Growing Pains.
I never knew that. I was a huge Growing Pains fan. I never knew that was Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, and he played the annoying kid.
Yeah, so Kirk Cameron is the teacher, right?
I don't know who the teacher is. I forget about all the other people. I just like Leo.
Yeah, it was Kirk Cameron.
I was a little girl when I was watching all
Candace's older brother.
Yeah. For me, definitely Titanic. I do like The Departed. And probably Inception. Out of all of these. Those three.
I can go with that.
Did you think he was good in The Man in the Iron Mask?
I mean, I think
that made a lot of money.
That movie's, I didn't really like that.
183 million. Then again,
they had that ensemble cast, though.
Yeah,
right?
and it was just coming off the coattails of Titanic, so he had a lot of momentum. You've got to put Basketball Diaries in your top 3. Basketball Diaries is such a good movie.
Man, that's not my top 3. My top 3 is Inception, The Departed.
Duh.
And gosh, man, what am I'm actually going to give it to Shutter Island. I actually think Shutter Island was pretty. Like, that's my low key sleeper pick right there, Shutter Island.
Okay,
but definitely Inception and Departed.
Okay, now we've talked about how Leo. Again, I'm going to say mine, not in any particular order. A movie that we skipped over on this list tragically, but he did again play someone who actually existed. When he played J. Edgar Hoover in J. Edgar,
he
was good in that. 2011. Hoover. He was really good. J. Edgar Hoover, troubled individual, the former director of the CIA, whose exploits are kind of well known now. But man, Leo was good in that movie.
Oh, that was directed by Clint Eastwood. Cool.
Oh, I did not. Really? I didn't know that.
Right there.
Sorry, what else do you got?
Okay, so that's one of them. I'm gonna say What's Eating Gilbert Grape, only because he was.
Because you watched it.
Because out of the 30 movies that he has done, those are the only 2 that he's watched. So, you don't have a third.
Is it grape or grape? What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Yeah, definitely. And okay, and lastly, I'm gonna say Wolf of Wall Street because he was. I mean, it was a virtuoso performance. His mood and his personality changes so much. Yeah. He gets in trouble with the law. He's on drugs. He's almost an abusive husband. He's reformed and everything. I mean, just that character goes through. It's almost right up there with Mark Wahlberg as Dirk Diggler.
Come on, man. That's way better than Mark Wahlberg's performance.
I mean, in terms of the way the character changes over the course of the movie.
Actually, yeah, that's a great pick. I really liked his performance in Wolf of Wall Street. He probably should have won the Oscar for that.
Yeah.
Instead, they snubbed him, and he had to wait to get it, and he had to get eaten by a bear, and then get it like 2 years later. It's pretty silly. But yeah, guys, let us know what your favorite Leonardo DiCaprio roles are.
Oh, what's Uncle Ken's favorites?
Oh yeah, Ken, what's your favorite? Sorry, man. Just because we didn't have it on camera.
The last one, the one which he won an Academy Award.
The Revenant?
That was great. He was really, really good in that movie, and as far as the acting is concerned. He was not playing a Leo character that he did in the past. He was actually a great role for him. I think that's where he came out. Titanic, anybody could play that role. Honestly.
Ooh. Okay, there's a very fine point. Before we close, could anybody else have played Jack?
Yeah.
Of
course. You know what, Uncle Ken, you're absolutely right.
Could Hugh Jackman have played Jack?
Maybe not Hugh Jackman.
Could Christian Bale?
Ryan Gosling could have played Jack.
Christian Bale could have played him.
Maybe he's too old. Maybe a young Christian Bale maybe could have played him.
Wait, could you... Okay, hang on now. Could you switch, Ash, Christian Bale as Jack in Titanic, and can you put Leonardo DiCaprio as Patrick Bateman in American Psycho?
Oh, you could put him in American Psycho.
You could not put him in American Psycho. He would not be believable at all.
It would not be based on the role that he played in Titanic.
He super ripped,
that character, it just stays in
the back of your mind. Yet.
You could not put Leo in American Psycho and believe he was Patrick Bateman.
Why? Well, what about the character?
Hi, I'm Patrick Bateman. Here's my card. I'm into murders and amputations. I mean, mergers and acquisitions. He's too baby face again. He's too beautiful. Patrick Bateman
He
had.
kind of did have a baby face for a while.
I mean, yeah, he does have a baby
He
face.
still has one. I mean, the dude looks.
No, he's old now.
Okay, and now the dude is. I mean, he's very, very reclusive too. He doesn't go to the awards ceremonies generally.
Okay.
He's too good for them.
He basically stays home and he, has fun with supermodels.
He's an environmentalist. I think I read that somewhere just recently.
Is that a politically correct way of saying stud?
No, what is that movie?
No,
or that
he
documentary?
is. He's
Inconvenient Truth. That's his thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that was him.
I don't know.
He's go green.
All right, right on. Go Leo.
Anyway, those of you at home, let us know what your favorite Leonardo DiCaprio
Go Leo.
movies
Just don't
are.
do American Psycho.
And if you like Real Talk, make sure you follow us on the KOM Podcast Network, as well as the other shows that we have on the podcast network, including the Reporter's Journal. And once again, shout out to our sponsors, Tango Theaters. And we will catch you next week when we talk the best love movies of all time for Valentine's Day.